on Desmos, and what does it tell us the x-intercept?
1.6 and 0.
Negative 1.6.
Negative 1.6 and 0.
Comma 0. Very good. Thank you very much, Jordan. Okay. And now let's see. What do we have next? It talks about a max or a min. Okay, and maybe a minimum. Okay, so let's see. Ruby, are you here?
Yeah.
So does this have a maximum? Does it have a point that's the tallest?
I'm gonna say no.
No, it never stops going up. So it should have no maximum. What about minimum?
No.
Right. Okay. It always goes up. It always goes down. There's no point that's like a max or a min. Okay. Good job. And then next we have area of increasing and area of decreasing. Okay, and remember that we always go left to right here. Okay, so let me pick Lamero.
I'm here.
Okay, so as I'm moving from left to the right, is my function increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Yeah, so the area of increasing is going to be from negative infinity to positive infinity because it never stops increasing. And there are going to be no areas of decreasing because it's a linear function and it's got a positive slope. It's always going up. Thank you very much, Lamero. And the last thing is end behavior. So we have two ends up there. We have the left side, which is as x is approaching the negative infinity. And then we have the right-hand side. So this is the left-hand side. And this is the right-hand side. Okay, so the left-hand side, oops, sorry, you can't see, is going to be as x is approaching negative infinity. The right-hand side is going to be as x is approaching positive infinity. And we're asking, what does f of x do? So f of x is going to approach something here. F of x is going to approach something there. Okay, we have to figure out which one is which. So let me draw a name. Amar, are you here now? Okay. Daisy?
Yes.
Okay, so as x moves left, what are my y values doing? So as I move along this line this way, what do my y values do?
Decreasing.
Yeah, so they're going to approach negative infinity. And what about if I move right? So if I go up, what do my y values do?
They're increasing.
Yeah, which means we approach
A positive infinity.
Very good. Thank you, Daisy. Okay. So that is it for our linear function. We have found all of the key features. Okay, so that was a lot. What questions do you guys have about key features of the linear functions? Okay, there are no questions. We're going to move on to the square root function. So I'm going to type in a square root function right here. So we're going to have the negative square root of negative x minus 4 plus 8. Okay, so this is our square root function here. I'm going to put, I want to let me touch it. Oh, well. Okay, so we have our square root function here. There's the picture of it. And now I'm going to flip back to this, and I am going to draw out or write out our example. Okay, so here's our example of a square root function. So we have f of x is equal to the negative square root of negative x minus 4 plus 8. Oops, sorry. Y'all can yell at me if my like paper is being weird and you can't see. Let me know. I'd rather no one fix it. Okay. Okay, so again, for our square root function, we're going to do domain and range first. Okay, and I'm going to talk through this one real quick, and then I'm going to call on people again for quadratic, just to make sure that we finish on time. So remember that our domain is going to be how far left I can go, and then how far right I can go. So if I'm moving left, I can move my graph forever, and it keeps going and going and going and going, okay? So that means for my domain, my lower value should be negative infinity, okay? And to the right, it does stop. There's a point right here where it does stop at -4. So it all goes all the way up to -4. It includes -4, and that's as far as it goes. So that's our domain. Our range is going to be how far down it goes and then how far up it goes. So if I follow this along, I'm going to find out there's no point where it's just stopping. It's going to go down forever. It's past the x-axis. It's going to keep going and going and going. Whew, back. Okay, so my range, the lowest part, is going to be negative infinity. And it goes all the way up to here and then stops. This is the highest point on here. So my range should go up to 8. And we do include it, so we use the square bracket. Okay, what questions do you have on domain and range for the square root? Okay, the next key feature is our x-intercept. Okay, we happened to pass the x-intercept when we were searching along to see how low the function could go. So we're going to do that again. So we're going to go over here and see how low the function goes. And we find our x-intercept right here. So at -68. Okay, and we want to make it a point, so it's -68, 0. All right, now it goes down like this forever, but the y-axis was all the way over here. We're looking at the y-intercept next. Does it ever intersect the y-axis?
No.
No, so it has no y-intercept. Okay, then we're going to look at our maximum. Is there a highest point on this function?
Yes.
What is it?
Isn't it -4.8?
Yeah, so yeah, it's at this point, and I guess we could include, yeah, the maximum is at -4.8. Very good. Thank you, Henry. Does it have a minimum point?
No.
No, it goes down forever. Okay, so no minimum point. We're almost done with this one. Okay, so we have areas of increasing, areas of decreasing, and then in behavior left to do. Okay, so let's see. The area of increasing, Henry, could you turn your mic off?
Oh.
Is going to be the entire thing, okay? Because as we move from left to right, it's always going up, okay? So the area of increasing is going to be from negative infinity And we're just going to put the whole domain all the way to -4. It doesn't do anything past that. It should have no areas of decreasing. And our end behavior, so as it moves to the left, so on the left-hand side, as the x's move towards -infinity, our f of x's move towards -infinity as well. It keeps going down and down and down. And then for our right-hand side, as our x's move towards the positive infinity, there is a stopping point, but up until that stopping point, they are increasing and they go all the way up until they approach +8. Okay. So that would be the end behavior for my right-hand side. What questions do you have about that example?
Are we gonna have to do all this process for all the problems that we do?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
It's just going to ask about specific things, and it'll ask you to even compare some functions. So if you graph both functions, it'll ask like, how many x-intercepts of this one are there compared to that one? So yeah, there are going to be more interesting questions than just doing this. And this is a lot of information. Okay, so our next one is our quadratic. And I'm going to pick f of x equals x plus 1 quantity squared minus 4. And I'm going to go ahead and type that into Desmos. Okay, so we should have this quadratic here. All right, and I am assuming that some of you need time to catch up writing, so I'm gonna go ahead and write out all the key features that we're finding for each of these. I'm sorry that today's lesson is kind of boring. Okay, so for our quadratic, the domain, we've talked about domain for quadratics. It's going to go all the way left and all the way right. So my domain is going to be -infinity to +infinity. Let's see. Man, I have to start over. There's so few of you here. Daisy, could you help me out with my range, please?
Oh, yeah.
What's the lowest value? Here.
A -1, -4.
Yeah, so we want the y value though. So what's the y value of that?
-4.
Yeah, and am I going to use the rounder, the square parenthesis?
The square.
Perfect. And then how far up can our function go?
+infinity.
Very good. Thank you. Now I'm looking for my x-intercepts and my y-intercepts. Lamero, can you help me out with those?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll start with the x-intercepts. Where are my x-intercepts?
-3, 0, and 1, 0.